Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back with another movie night video. This time is on Darren Aronofsky's Mother from 2017. So if you guys saw my last video that I posted on this channel, it was my Rosemary's Baby movie night. And I mentioned at the end of that video that I'm doing this on purpose, doing this Mother movie night back to back with my Rosemary's Baby movie night. And that's because a lot of people say this came out in 2017, like I mentioned, and Rosemary's Baby came out in 1968. But a lot of people say that they are very similar, and some people even say that Mother is almost like a ripoff of Rosemary's Baby, or maybe that's kind of like a soft reboot of Rosemary's Baby. But apparently it has nothing to do with Rosemary's Baby besides the fact that they are kind of similar at times, but they have like no connection. It's not like this is a sequel to it. But still, I thought I would do them back to back. But yeah, I'm really excited for this movie. This is, of course, going to be my first time watching it. And yeah, after loving Rosemary's Baby, if you guys have not seen that video, I guess you could check it out. I think this would be a good companion piece to that video. Again, they kind of go in tandem, even though they're not connected directly, again, like a sequel or anything. They're just kind of similar, apparently. But yeah, that's really all I know about this film, because I have not watched any trailers, any clips, anything like that. I know zero going into it. I know who's in it, and that's about it. Or actually, I do know one other thing about this film, and that was that it was very polarizing when it first came out. A lot of audiences were very divided on this film, and like I just mentioned with Rosemary's Baby, I really enjoyed that movie, and that is a film, a horror classic, that I think a lot of people can agree upon as being good, even if you don't enjoy the movie so much. I was talking about this in my Reading Bad Letterboxd Reviews video, but if you don't like a classic movie, most people are able to accept the fact that it is a good movie, even if you don't like it personally. Like saying, like this was a really well-directed movie, but it just wasn't for me. Saying something like that, that is Rosemary's Baby. But I thought it was incredible when I first watched it in that other movie night video. But this film, on the other hand, Mother, was, oh my god, you just compare the Letterboxd reviews and the ratings for both of those films, Rosemary's Baby and Mother. It is like night and day. Mother is just all over the place, and there are a ton of reviews for it as well. But yeah, unlike Rosemary's Baby, which I just kind of explained, this film is going to be my most polarizing movie that I am seeing on this movie night series so far. So this was, of course, directed by Darren Aronofsky, which I already mentioned at the beginning of this video. And I've seen one other film from him, and that was Black Swan. I watched that for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I really love that movie. But yeah, I have to admire the balls on him to make a film like Black Swan, and then, I mean, we'll see how this goes. Which, oh man, I'm so excited to watch this. I do not have the physical copy of the movie on Blu-ray, so I'm just going to be watching it on the Hulu app, as I did with Rosemary's Baby. And yeah, I'm not going to waste any more time with this intro. Let's pull this movie up on the Hulu app and watch Mother for the very first time. Alright guys, so let's go over to Hulu down here. I'm having deja vu from my Rosemary's Baby video. And literally, at the time I'm recording this, I filmed that like a week ago or so. So, I mean, these movies going back to back like this is going to be something really exciting. So yeah, I mean, let's do it. Let's look it up. Mother. And also, it might show it as like the graphic for the movie on this app, but the poster for this film, yeah, there it is. The poster is absolutely insane. It is so good. You can't really see it down there. Oh, and it looks like I'm going to have to renew this subscription real quick, but I'll do that off camera because that would just be boring for you guys. But yeah, you could kind of see it right there. The poster for this film, actually I'll put it on screen right now, is so insane. It looks so good. And I love how it's not like a photo. It almost looks like a painting, like a mural with Jennifer Lawrence there. I'm so excited to see this. Again, I know who's in it, and by looks of the cast, this film will be incredibly acted, and I'm sure it will be very well directed. Again, just going off of Black Swan, which is the only other Aronofsky film that I've seen. But yeah, I mean, I'm so excited to watch this, and I'm even more excited to share my thoughts with you guys after the video. So yeah, you guys will see how I react to the film after I watch it. This is about 2 hours long. So yeah, I'll see you guys in that amount of time after I watch Mother for the very first time. Here we go. Alright guys, so I just finished watching mother for the very first time. That movie was, I can't, that, see how I'm having like trouble even speaking? It's just that was such a weird movie, and so many like twists and turns that just were so disturbing. And it just, first of all, I really enjoyed the movie. I think I should just get that out of the way, like my very, very broad thoughts on the movie. I really enjoyed it. I do have problems with it though. If I was to review it on Letterboxd, which I will do after I finish recording this video, if you guys want to see that, then you could just look at my Letterboxd account. That's not supposed to sound like a useless plug or anything for my account, but yeah, if you want to see like my quick summed up thoughts in like probably less than a paragraph long on this film, and also the rating that I will give it, then just go to my Letterboxd account. I think I would probably give it a 4-star. Actually, definitely a 4-star. I think I've kind of settled on that after thinking about this film for a little bit now. I will be getting into spoilers, as I do with most of these movie night videos. Okay. I'm going to try to get through this quickly because I could talk about this for a very long time. It's just so, it's insanely hard to put into words. But anyways, let's start off with comparing it to Rosemary's Baby, because that was my big thing going into it after seeing Rosemary's Baby for the first time like around a week ago, as of the time I'm recording this. So the similarities to Rosemary's Baby, they mostly all happen within like the first 45 minutes, maybe like half an hour. So like if you want to round it off, just say the first act, around there. It is, a lot of the characters are very similar. So you have Jennifer Lawrence, who is by far the main character in this movie. Actually, the ending kind of makes it seem like it's more of Javier Bardem's. It's kind of more of his movie. It's like he's the main character, he's the main focus, and then Jennifer Lawrence is almost like a pawn to him. And I will get to the ending soon, but Jennifer Lawrence is, when she's on camera for the whole entire movie, is definitely from her point of view, and I enjoy that about it. Like everything that happens is from her point of view, so if something seems shady that one of the characters is doing, like if it seems bad, then we never really get their side. We only see it through Jennifer Lawrence. I think that gave a lot of relatability to her. And also the fact that she is just brutalized throughout this movie. I felt so bad for her. Like the entire time. Just, there are two big moments, especially one that happens, I guess, kind of near the end. It's kind of like the climax of the movie, when there are people that just kind of raid her house and all hell breaks loose, and it is fucking insane. It is like the most, it's, oh my god. I can't even talk again. And I mean, during that whole scene, I just felt so bad for her character. I was just, oh my god. How am I gonna get through this? It seems like she is yelling for like a lot of the movie just to get people to stop doing something that is like so, rightfully so, infuriating to her. It just seems like the entire movie is her, like, her constant battle against other people. So that is a similarity to Rosemary in Rosemary's Baby, Mia Farrow's character. But this one is like done to the extreme, much more than her. Like Mia Farrow's character, she was very, she kind of held her own for a while. And even though her husband would take advantage of her, I really liked seeing the different ways that she would get around things. And that was something that I love so much about that movie, is that she was very smart and she was a very likable protagonist. And Jennifer Lawrence is very likable in this movie. Again, you really feel for her when bad shit starts happening. But it just wouldn't stop for her. And that was one thing, I think it went a little bit too far at times. I just wish I saw her get like a win at one point. She kind of does near the middle of the movie when she has her baby, or when she's pregnant, and it's kind of leading up to that, and she gets rid of that the yellow liquid, like the yellow medicine, to control her heart, and well, actually to control the house's heart, because they are interconnected in some way. Anyway, yeah, she is like, it just doesn't seem fair to her at times, because I wish her character could get a win, you know? And it just seems like she is constantly being beaten down. And yeah, just I think there are like a few too many scenes of that. It was just like, I want that to stop so badly. And I mean, I think that was definitely the feeling that they were going for, to try to make the audience feel for her in that way. But I much prefer how they did it in Rosemary's Baby, how they kind of went after her character feeling that way, and how the audience feels towards her character. So anyway, moving on from that, there are other characters in this movie that are similar to Rosemary's Baby. Javier Bardem as the husband, who is kind of easily manipulated, but unlike Rosemary's Baby, that was more other people manipulating him. Javier Bardem in this movie, it's all in his head, and then he lets people kind of trample all over him and do what they want because he likes it. While Guy Woodhouse in Rosemary's Baby, he was kind of like, it all kind of happened almost out of his control. Even though he kind of allowed them to get into his life with this satanic religion, you could see at the end of Rosemary's Baby, he like feels bad for Rosemary, and he's like, oh, he's almost like, what have I done, almost. And yeah, it seems like he is almost a pawn to other people, while Javier Bardem in this movie, and he realizes it, while Javier Bardem in this movie, he is a pawn to other people. He is kind of being used, but that's how he likes it, and he's kind of blind to see that. So those characters are pretty similar as well. And then Michelle Pfeiffer and Ed Harris, who are also very good in the movie. Everyone is good in the movie, especially Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem's characters. But moving on from them, Ed Harris and Michelle Pfeiffer, no one has names in this movie. I think if you look it up, it says that Jennifer Lawrence's character's name is her, and then Javier Bardem is him, and then Ed Harris and Michelle Pfeiffer are like, I forget, like they don't have actual names. But anyway, Michelle Pfeiffer and Ed Harris, they show up. This is the biggest similarity in my mind. They are very, very much like Roman and Minnie Castevet in Rosemary's Baby. They are very, especially Michelle Pfeiffer, she is very nosy, she's pushy, she likes to push the buttons of Jennifer Lawrence's character, and she just doesn't seem to go away. And she kind of acts polite at first and doesn't realize that she's intruding. I mean, at some point she kind of walks away like, oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be asking this. But, you know, she gets carried away a lot. And then eventually she goes way too far, and then she begins to hate Jennifer Lawrence's character for certain reasons of different things that happen in the movie that I won't bother to go over every single thing. Again, these are supposed to be just my quick thoughts on this film. But yeah, she was very similar to Minnie Castevet in Rosemary's Baby, and Ed Harris was very similar to Roman Castevet, of course. He shows up at first, and you could tell something is off with him, with both of them, him and Michelle Pfeiffer, when they first arrive. And Javier Bardem is very much like Guy Woodhouse in that aspect, when he kind of welcomes them in and he wants to stay with them. And he even says, almost like a direct quote from Rosemary's Baby, he says to Jennifer Lawrence, his wife, he says how Ed Harris, he has like so many stories and you get so taken by them and captivated by them. That is like a copy and paste of what Guy Woodhouse was doing with Roman in Rosemary's Baby. But that is just about, I mean, there are some little tidbits, like at one point Michelle Pfeiffer is talking about like, oh, why don't you have any kids? I mean, that's kind of another taken from Rosemary's Baby. I said copy and paste a second ago, and I don't want to make it seem like this movie wasn't being original. It's just the fact that they were so similar at like little moments when it was like deja vu. But yeah, that was pretty much it with the characters and some of their motivations. And then Jennifer Lawrence has a baby later on in the movie, and they use it. The followers of Javier Bardem, who is a poet, they kind of, I'm not even going to try to explain it. If you haven't seen this movie, you should watch it, but I'm warning you, this is not for everyone, and this is fucking disturbing as hell, and those images are kind of seared in my brain. But anyways, at one point, the followers of the poet, they take the baby, and well, they do something with it that I will spare you the mental image. Again, if you haven't seen this movie, just tread lightly when you go into this one. This film was, like, they do something to the baby at one point that was... fuck. I was watching it, and I was just, like, I was like this the entire time. For, like, that last half an hour to 45 minutes, in the second half, I was like this the entire time. It was insane. But anyway, moving on from the similarities to Rosemary's Baby, I covered a good amount there, just by comparing the two. I do think, or actually, let me go back to Rosemary's Baby for 1 second. I am going to say this, and I know it's not totally fair. I don't like to say which movie I like more. I mean, if it's in a series, I think that's only fair. Like, if it was a direct sequel to a different movie, I would say, oh, I do think I like this one more than this one. So, I mean, I know these are not directly connected, and again, they're definitely their own stories, despite the little similarities. I do think I like Rosemary's Baby better. I do think I will rewatch that in the future, and I do think that is overall the better movie. I mean, again, it all comes down to preference, but yeah, I could definitely envision myself rewatching that over and over again, and I think there are going to be a lot of scenes in that film that stick with me more in a better way than this movie. But anyway, moving on to different things in this film, Mother, I did like the heart aspect in this film. And I mentioned that earlier with the poster, and you guys saw it, the poster of Jennifer Lawrence holding her own heart. I didn't know how that would kind of entail with this film, but now I do know. The ending is incredible. The ending was so good, and that was, I mean, it was the perfect way to cap off the film, because I knew I was nearing the end, but when there was just like the craziness going on in the house, I was like, oh my god, how is this going to come to an end? I hope it's not lame or anything, or I hope it's not like the easy way out. But it was so good. It was so good. It was such a great ending, and I was really glad with the direction that they went in with it. If you're going to see this movie, it's definitely an experience, but I think you will at least appreciate the film by the end, and I definitely do. Again, I really enjoy this film, but I do have some complaints about it. One is the thing I mentioned earlier with Jennifer Lawrence just being beaten down in this film just excessively, and it was like sad to see how much she was getting like just taken advantage of by other characters. It's just I want to see her win a couple of times instead of, you know, because her character really doesn't win at the end of this film. It's definitely more Javier Bardem, and I love how that looped around. I keep on going back to the ending, but rightfully so. I mean, it's a great ending to the film. But yeah, that's why I mentioned earlier with Javier Bardem seeming kind of like the main character, and Jennifer Lawrence is kind of a pawn of him. I think that's a good expression and a good way to put it. Anyways, the complaints about this film, as I mentioned, the thing with Jennifer Lawrence's character, but also I do think it gets a little bit repetitive at times. I do think it could have been a bit shorter, and there are just some scenes here and there. I think the setup is really good for the end of the movie, but it just doesn't seem like we needed everything in there. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. Definitely leave your thoughts on this film if you have seen it. I can 100% understand people who have watched this movie and did not like it, because again, I liked it, but it's totally fine if you guys didn't, and again, I would love to hear your thoughts on it in the comments down below. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed my thoughts on Mother. Man, this was an interesting one. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.